right, welcome back in. Just another football show. Rolling into the division weekend. Gonna get you all the fan previews coming your way. First and foremost, starting off, we're not doing them in game order. We're just doing an order that the people were available to talk to us. It's the best we can do, guys.
Yeah.
We're talking a little Eagles and Giants. Should be a decent one, right? I would think.
Got the 1 seed in action here, plus the Giants. I thought the Giants looked really good
Giants did look very good
last Sunday against the Vikings. It's going to be an interesting one because the teams already played twice. Eagles have won both times, but this is the best I think the Giants have looked all year. And if they can hold some of the momentum, they ain't going away quietly. So I think it's going to be a great game, Saturday night game there. The link is going to be rocking. It's going to be loud. It's going to be mean. It's going to be Philly.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Like you said, if the Giants can hold the momentum, we'll see. They're looking very good after that win in Minneapolis. We are going to talk to Eagles fan Eric. He joined us, I believe, in the preseason. If we go all the way back,
he's been our Eagles fan.
He has. He's OG Eagles fan, so he's gonna talk to us about the Eagles side of things and some of those injuries that we're tracking, things like that. And then we got to get Eddie Spaghetti back on. He fresh off getting engaged is coming at us, ready to talk Giants. He's pumped and very much ready for another game this weekend. So. Let's what do we say? We just get Eric on the line and just get it going.
Let's hop to it.
Get it going. We got 4 previews to get to. Let's get the first one done. All right. So now we gotta get Eric back in to talk about his Eagles. And Eric, I know that you're like me, and the anxiety levels just already at fucking full tilt at early week, right? Like I just want it to be here. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, I'm really happy that we got the Saturday night game. I don't have to wait all day Saturday till Sunday night for the game. That's what I'm happy about.
Yeah, it's I know, obviously watched a lot of Eagles games with you. I know that it's nerve-wracking. What was it like having the week off, the bye week, though? Just get to watch the games, not worry too much, right?
Well, all I was hoping for was that the Vikings are going to take care of the Giants and then the Bucs take care of the Cowboys. And neither of those things happened. Now I have to fear facing the Giants and then possibly facing the Cowboys, and I don't want to do 2 NFC East teams in a row.
It is wild that 3 of the 4 remaining teams are from the East.
You obviously don't want to play your hated Giants, but you have played them twice this year. You won both times. The one that really mattered, you won handily. I think it was 48 to something.
48 to 22, I think.
48 to 20. And that was a shellacking. Now. That was back in week 14, but how do you feel about facing this team again? A team that you like I said, beat twice, beat them up when it really mattered, and looked good doing it.
The first time, we were fully healthy, but now Jalen Hurts is a little beat up, Lane Johnson's beat up. We don't have Avonte Maddox. These are big pieces. I think at that time we didn't have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, so. We still have him. He can play nickel where Maddox was. But I definitely, I'm a little worried just because of the fact that we're beat up. But I think with the last game that we played, the Giants, we didn't have our full playbook open because of Jalen Hurts being injured. So I think that's a little bit of a fluke there. So hopefully we have another, week 14 match. But what do I know? I assume that we're going to get, ran on by Daniel Jones somehow. But
What's the feeling with Jalen Hurts right now? Obviously, a couple of weeks away, the Cowboys game. So week 16 he was away, week 17 he was away, lost both of those games. But played against the Giants, like you said, hurt probably, still recovering a little bit. But it's been a couple weeks since then. What's the status? What's the feeling right now?
I got a notification today that Nick Sirianni said that he's going to be full participant. I think it's supposed to be today's practice, but yeah, they said that he's supposed to be good to go, and he's probably still not going to be 100%, but really, who's all 100% at this point in the year?
And Lane Johnson should be coming back, right? Didn't I hear him say that he was going to be back? Or
he said he's coming back. I think he was on the podcast and he'll be there. Yeah. He opted out of surgery just so that way he could play in the playoffs.
I was going to say, what does this feel like compared to the 2018 run, the run a few years ago where you end up winning the Super Bowl?
I think it's just kind of similar. They seem like they're all having fun playing, and it's just we're winning pretty handily. We had a couple hiccups here and there, but yeah, I definitely feel like it's similar to that 2017, 2018 run. So hopefully it's not going to be like the same thing as like the following year where we're just like kind of ass. But I'm really hopeful, but who knows what's going to happen on Saturday.
Give me an over/under. How much steak did you eat this year? You eat a steak every time your team wins a game, right? You only lost 3 games this year. And I saw some of those spreads, right? You're not just eating a little bit. You're making a steak. So how much do you think you've eaten?
Well, how many like wins did we get? So it'd be all those.
15 wins,
It's a very
right?
simple fucking
15,
answer, Ryan.
15 steaks.
Or, well, no, 14 wins. 14 wins.
Yeah. So 14 steaks. Yeah, I was trying to like do like different recipes every time.
You gotta watch your
instead of just doing just a
intake there,
big
man.
steak.
What was the best? Did you try sous vide? Did you reverse sear?
I ain't getting sous vide. I don't got that kind of counter space. And
You do not have the counter space, I know.
Oh,
I do not have
I
the
could do it in my boil kettle for my
Yeah,
brewing
just like
equipment.
kind of boil it. But the reverse sear is the way to go, right?
definitely.
Now, looking at this game, Eagles, Giants, Saturday night,
Round
7:15 p.m. Round 3. You won the first 2. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a year.
Heard that.
Do your Eagles have what it takes, and what do you think the final score is?
Oh God, I don't.
You have to do the final score. You have 2 prior games to go off. That's a little bit of help. Use that to guide you.
I think that we can pull it off. I'm
Pull it
still
off.
skeptical on it.
You're the favorite. You're the 1 seed.
Who else has been the favorite in this? Like, like the Chargers. The Chargers like blew a lead. The Vikings were a favorite. It's just it's.
All right.
But I would say they're definitely gonna keep me like anxious the whole time. So I'd probably be like 24-21 or some bullshit where they're gonna like drive at the very end and it's gonna be close to like a field goal or something like that. But yeah, I think it's gonna be stressful.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I've been having fun watching this Eagles team all year. Back to week 1 against the Lions, right? That was a crazy one, high-scoring one. It's just been a fun team to watch because of the creativity there. Any concern about your team getting picked apart with the coordinators getting poached and taking interviews, anything like that? I always hate that when that happens.
I have never seen like a team do so well and then all the fans want the coordinators gone. Like I don't get it. Like they want Gannon out of there. I'm like, he's a top 5 defense, but they're like, it's just personnel. I'm like, but it's also like him too, I guess. But and then they're like they had one bad game with like Gardner Minshew, and they want our Steichen out. I'm like, why would you guys want him gone too?
Yeah, the number 1 pass D in the league. You're 8th in the league against fewest points allowed, and I think part of that's getting bolstered by that Cowboys game, right? The shootout on Christmas Eve. Like, it's a great defense. I'm keep Gannon if you can.
Because they all want like Vic Fangio, and then
Yeah.
they want Frank Reich to come back. I'm like, why do you guys want all these people to come back when we're doing well right now? Like I've even seen people post about how if it was Doug Peterson's staff, we would be undefeated and I've already won the Super Bowl by now. So
That's
Eagles fans are kind of the worst people in the world.
Eagles fans.
Fans in general are the worst.
Eagles
Like,
fans never.
every fan base can point at some group and be like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about? Stop it! Just stop it." All right, Kyle or Derek, I tried. I made it.
Whatever, either or, it
90% of the
doesn't
way.
matter.
I know. We appreciate you taking some time, and like I said, I do think this is going to be one of the funner games of the weekend. Your anxiety is earned. I do believe.
Well placed.
It's well placed. But
Unfortunately.
I think we'll be hitting you up next week. I haven't made my official prediction yet. We don't have to do that till Friday, but I believe we'll be bugging you next week to talk about a potential NFC Championship game.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man. We appreciate you.
Talk to you later.
All right, go Jags.
All right, so he was with us last week. Coming back this week as Giants got the win there in Minneapolis, and now get to take on the division rival in Philadelphia. Eddie, sir, how's it going?
It's going very well. Very excited to be back with you fellas. You guys are the good luck charm. I'll be back every single week as long as the Giants keep on winning. But we talked about it last week. It was a game I felt pretty good about. I thought the Giants matched up pretty well with them. This week, not as much. But you know what? It's time to reverse history. Giants have been getting their tails kicked by the Eagles recently, so maybe some magic will happen Saturday night.
Yeah, I think this was the first time. This is probably the first time I actually get to sit down and just watch a full Giants game, see what this team is all about after they, made the playoffs, and I was blown away. Right, obviously Daniel Jones looked better than I think I've ever seen him, but the guys around him too, Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, guys that kind of came out of nowhere, Hodgins especially. Daniel Bellinger looked good in this game too. Saquon didn't have to carry this team on his back, although he had 50 yards on the air, 50 yards on the ground. What do you tell people who are trying to just seeing the Giants for the first time and are trying to hop on the bandwagon? Like me.
Well, if you pick that Vikings game, I mean, that's definitely a game where Daniel Jones shined the most or the brightest, for sure. There, a few miscues. There was that boneheaded illegal motion penalty that would have gotten him a touchdown earlier on. Obviously, the Slayton drop really could have been costly. But they clearly, like I said before, they matched up really well versus the Vikings team. The game plan was not to pound Saquon. He only had, I think, 9 carries. He averaged almost 6 yards a pop, but they didn't need him to really pound it. They just knew that this Vikings pass defense was pretty terrible, so they really took advantage of that. And Daniel Jones, I said to you guys last week, I mean, he's right now in the best stretch of his football of his career from December onward. The guy's just locked in. He's making these no-name players, like you said, Isaiah Hodgins, practice squad guys, become almost household names because how he's getting the ball to them. Richie James, Darius Slayton, Daniel Bellinger. A lot of these nondescript players are succeeding because Jones is playing so well. And that's credit to him, obviously, for working very hard in the minute the season ended last year, but also to Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka, who I know is going to be interviewed by tons of teams for their head coaching position. So really, to answer your question, if you saw that game last week, then obviously you're thinking Daniel Jones is great. But I think that for this game upcoming, for them to really stand a chance, they need to get to the quarterback more. And we just kind of need more of the same. We need Adoree Jackson to show up like he did versus Justin Jefferson. And need Daniel Jones to not turn the ball over and just be super smart and super accurate like he was.
Were you worried at all during the game? It was mostly Giants on top, or they matched right away after the Vikings scored. And then Giants kind of, had the reins the rest of the game. Anytime you were worried about it?
I was worried until there was all zeros on the clock.
All right.
I mean, I literally... I was had tears of joy, and I my chest felt like it was being compressed, like somebody was stepping on me. That's how I felt the entire time. Because you have to realize, I understand the Giants have been relatively fortunate, recently with the 2 Super Bowls versus the Patriots. They won in dramatic fashion, but even during those Eli years, it was never consistent playoffs. And I think a lot of that went away with obviously the Plaxico Burress incident. That Giants team was awesome that year, but the Giants were either in the playoffs, lost in the first round, or they would go all the way to the Super Bowl. So there was never really consistent success or consistent playoff success, rather. So I'm not really used to this. Obviously, this is the first Giants playoff game since that 2016 loss to the Packers. So it's been quite a while. And I do not miss the feeling, but once you win, it feels amazing. Yeah. So I did not feel confident at all. And like I mentioned, there was that boneheaded penalty. Every time you give up points, or you let points, you kick a field goal instead of scoring a touchdown, you're like, man, that's going to cost us. And the same thing, the Slayton drop, man, that's going to cost us. I hate to keep bashing the refs because everyone seems to be doing it, including a bunch of NFL players. Joey Bosa comes to mind, but Micah Parsons even tweeted out Kayvon Thibodeau is getting held every play. If you watch that left tackle in Minnesota 71, he was just mauling it. He was literally tackling him, bear hugging him. And I'm thinking man, they're going to lose this game because they're just missing Kirk Cousins. They're not getting to Kirk Cousins. But luckily the Giants defense, they showed up when they had to. I mentioned Adoree Jackson, great job on Justin Jefferson, and obviously Dexter Lawrence is kind of stealing the show, rushing up the A gaps. He's been awesome. So I did not feel confident at all. But it definitely feels good to once that clock hits 0, it feels awesome.
I was about to throw my remote through the TV during that after that roughing the passer penalty on the end of the game. What was your mindset right there? Just seeing red, or did you succumb to the powers of the universe and just know that everything was against you?
I think I tweeted, "Give me the ref's address," and luckily all of Twitter had my back, and they were like, "Yeah, this is one of the worst calls ever." We're at the point now at the NFL where it's not even. You have to just accept there's going to be bad calls. And I think we were just doing a pod with Sal a couple hours ago, and he said something that he's like, there's going to be terrible calls, but the better team should always win. If you're playing better consistently throughout the game, you should find a way to win. And he was kind of right. The Giants were the consistently better team throughout the 60-minute ball game. So luckily that Dexter Lawrence play didn't hurt them. But also, it's also strange that for this game that we love to be like, well, the refs are going to screw up. We have to just deal with it. Like, what else is Dexter Lawrence, or any D lineman for that matter, or any linebacker, what are you supposed to do to the quarterback there? Like he grabbed him around his number. He did not slam him to the ground. Everything is by the textbook. So, obviously the league will have to look into this roughing the passer issue they're having. I know they want to protect the quarterbacks, but you're really changing the outcome of the game because this is a personal foul. It's a 15-yard, thing. It would have been, I believe, going into third down for the Giants. They get a brand new, fresh set of downs to get 15 yards ahead on the field. So it was pretty bad, but again, like Dexter Lawrence still made great plays after that play. I was not his fault at all, but the referees are really bad, and I've been ragging on them all year long. They've been pretty terrible.
Yeah, this year seems particularly bad, worse than it's ever been, especially with roughing the passer calls. And I definitely felt like, okay, this is it. This was like, okay, now the Giants now the Vikings get the ball and they're walking on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely felt like, okay, this is a game that's going to be affected, outcome affected by the refs. Luckily, it wasn't, because the Giants, like you said, were playing consistent, playing good, got the ball back, and never let go. But looking at
it has to be reviewable. Not to cut you off, but at the very least, going forward, that it has to be a reviewable penalty because, like you said, you don't want it to dictate the outcome of this game, and the league does not want to stop protecting the quarterbacks. But at this point, it's like, everyone knows the product is tainted by this. It's just it's a black mark in the league.
Yeah, and we've seen, especially this week, and we saw a lot of the expedited replays or reviews or whatever, where the New York calls and says, hey, change this. Why do that with roughing the passer?
We've had this conversation so many times on the podcast this year of it is really that easy that New York just goes, hey, that's wrong, fix it now. You don't even have to go to a commercial break. You don't have to burn your commercials and your money, like whatever, just fix it and move on. It really is that simple. You've got so many guys watching that game that can see the replay very quickly and get a fix in that they don't. And it's probably going to take, and we will see it, I assume, in these next few weeks in a big moment, some team getting really screwed by this. And, man, you hate to see it because that's not how we want to see, like you said, the game that we love get decided.
Yeah, at the very. I love that idea. The expedited review. Don't wait around for the guy to go to a booth or whatever. Just call it in, change it. I think at the very least, this is the little baby step the league will take, where maybe it will be reviewable because, again, like at all costs, they want the quarterbacks to stay healthy. But what hits this year? I don't want to get off on a tangent. I want to talk about the football games, but. What hits this year have we seen the quarterbacks get injured from, like one of those like everyone's for the most part been fine. It's been on a scramble or whatever. I don't know. It's insane what this league has come to. It's too in touch.
I fully agree. But knowing that you have to play against the refs and now the Philadelphia Eagles, this will be the third matchup against the Eagles this year. What do you think it's going to take to get over the divisional rival and a team that you said has been beating the pants off you in recent memory?
Yeah, I mean, that Week 18 game, how they played the Eagles versus the Giants, mainly third stringers in that game. And they had like Davis Webster, not even like Tyrod Taylor. I don't even think Matt Brady saw the field that much. It was a real backup game for the Giants, and the Eagles struggled in that game. Now, was that because the Eagles didn't really want to show anything? Is that because Jalen Hurts was still kind of injured? We had Jeff Schwartz, who obviously played in the league. He was on one of our shows yesterday, and he was talking to us about it, and he was like, I think that Jalen Hurts' shoulder really is injured. He doesn't think it's a smokescreen by Nick Sirianni to say that. So if you're a Giants fan or just somebody rooting against the Eagles, you really have to hope, not that you want to hope for a player injury, but the only way to slow this team down and the Giants have a real chance is for Jalen Hurts to be that injured. Obviously, when the injury first happened, there were some reports that he may miss the rest of the year, but obviously the Eagles kept saying, nope, he's a tough guy. He's going to play. The other big thing is Lane Johnson. Apparently, he's going to play right back at right tackle for the Eagles, which would stink for the Giants because he's been out for quite a while with a core injury, but they say he's going to try to make it back for this divisional round game. Obviously going to be a crazy environment that they're building. They hate the Giants. The Giants hate the Eagles. So it's going to be a totally insane environment there. and the Giants have not had the best luck versus them. So what they have to, again, Daniel Jones, no mistakes. I would definitely like a heavier dose of Saquon on the ground. I know he was effective last game. He did score twice. Was effective in the pass catching game. But I think, big long drive. The Giants like a 10-minute drive, I think, versus the Vikings, one of them, the first half. Like, I love that. Like, they need more of that. Get the ball out of the Eagles' hands. I feel really good about Adoree Jackson lineup versus A.J. Brown. I mean, to shut down Justin Jefferson, who I think is the best receiver in the league, I think he could definitely do that for A.J. Brown. Dallas Goedert, though, it's going to be a huge problem. Giants really couldn't figure out how to stop T.J. Hawkinson. I know they try to put Xavier McKinney on him, but they don't like to waste McKinney on just covering one player. But Goddard's a damn good tight end, so you want to bottle him up. So it's going to be tough. The Eagles are probably better at every position, almost maybe just outside of running back. But it's going to be a real tough game because they're loaded. They're great in the trenches. And again, the Giants have not beaten them. And apparently, according to stats, like the team that does beat you twice usually wins the third game. So I'm not feeling great about a win. I'd like to see some more injury updates about the Eagles in the coming days. But if the Giants are going to get 7.5, 8 points, I'd probably say take the Giants. I do think they'll play their balls off and they'll keep it close. But it's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, the Eagles, had that week off too. I'm curious how that affects them, a team that kind of seems to maybe have used the week to get healthy. But like you said, guys that hadn't played for weeks and weeks and weeks, like Lane Johnson, how effective is he going to be? So I do think that's a good matchup.
Sure.
That, like you said, that's something to keep an eye on is the injury report there. I think Giants basically came away from Minnesota unscathed. I do know that Kayvon Thibodeau got his hand stepped on, was out for a couple snaps there. Casey was hoping that he gets a sack. He had it in a parlay.
Missed that parlay by the sack. Like you said, he was getting held all game, and I couldn't agree more with you. It's the only part I missed. I thought he was going to get back there and cause some trouble.
Pretty bad. I mean, obviously he's a guy that on the field you watch it all times, but it just seems like he's trying to spin around and you have a full body grab. Again, you could probably call holding on every NFL play, but when big number 5 is rushing at you and you're mostly watching the edge rushers, if you're the side judges or the back judges, I don't know how you missed that. So I feel for you to miss that sack. I would have thought he would have gotten one, especially with how I got to give Kirk Cousins credit though here. And he was really good about getting the ball out quickly, which, again, is what's kind of scaring me about this Jalen Hurts thing, because when a play breaks down, especially if his shoulder is pretty banged up, he's going to take off and run. The Giants don't have the best linebacking core. Not the best. They have one of the worst, actually. So I'm a little afraid of that. But, it's just going to be tough. It's going to be a real tough game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. Like you said, the teams hate each other. The link is going to be rocking. You might get some stuff thrown on the field. That's what the Eagles fans like to do. Give me a little idea of game flow for this game, how you think it's going to go, and then give me a final score.
He was close on the score last week. I got to give him credit where credit's due. You had 28-24, so you were right there, pretty close.
Yeah, I'm not used to this Giants team scoring north of 30 points, so I'm not sure if they'll be able to do that again. I think their game plan will look entirely different just because, the Vikings pass defense was ranked, I believe, 31st in the league. I don't think you'll see a Daniel Jones 300-plus yard passing game. I'll put it this way. If Daniel Jones passes for over 300 yards, the Giants will win the game, because that's not something that I expect to see happen again versus a team that's better defensively than the Vikings are. I do think they need way more carries for Saquon. Again, it's about keeping the ball out of the hands of Jalen Hurts in that offense, let the Giants dictate, win the time of possession battle. And I think Saquon is hungry to beat this team, and I think you could tell when he's fired up, and I hope that he'll break a couple long ones. I think the Giants need that. They need a couple big plays. They need Saquon to take, what should be a 5-yard gain and go 70 yards to the house, because they're going to need big plays to score, and they're going to have to score touchdowns. They're not going to win with field goals. Luckily, they were scoring touchdowns versus the Vikings. This offense seems to be playing very, very well. Again, credit to Mike Kafka and Brian Daboll for creating this, but and defensively with Jalen Hurts and company, the defense was not great. I don't know why they were playing so much zone and giving up so many big chunk plays to the Vikings. I just think this defense with Wink Martindale, who loves to blitz, is way better suited just to play man, and you will get beat. But again, Adoree Jackson is a very capable number 1 corner. He just showed that last weekend. I'd say just, pray that he's going to do his job versus A.J. Brown, and then just hope that these blitzes do get to Jalen Hurts. They make him have to create plays while being injured. And I think, again, just stay away from the zone, go to the man, make Jalen Hurts uncomfortable, and that's like, I don't know, no turnovers. I'm making it sound like there's absolutely no chance. I do think there's a chance the Giants could win this game, but they just need a lot of things to go right.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles have been the best team in the NFC, or at least best record in the NFC all season. The Giants are kind of, hit the curve at the right time, getting a lot better at the right time. Tough to, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a very good game. I'm excited for it. What, Saturday night?
Yep.
It's Saturday, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern game.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Looking forward to it. All right, Eddie, we appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us again, and hopefully we continue to be your good luck charm. We can talk to you next week.
I would love to talk to you guys next week, preparing either for the 49ers or for the Dallas Cowboys. That would be a dream come true.
An Eagles-Cowboys NFC Championship game, I think, not only would be fun, but I think it'd be fun for you over there on EP. So I'm rooting for that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be the NFC title game of all NFC
fun.
title games. So, we'll see what happens. Right now, depending on the spread of this game, I'm undecided. But like I said, if we get word that the Eagles are still pretty banged up, they may go in the favor of the Giants. So we'll see if there's some magic like that 2007-2011 team.
There you go. That's what it takes. All right, man. We appreciate you taking the time, and we'll talk at you later.
Absolutely. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Eddie.
sir. Always appreciate having Eddie Spaghetti on and Eric starting it out for us there. Good talking Eagles. This should be a fun one, Ryan, I think. Yeah. So
only got slightly distracted by stakes and penalties.
Hey,
and
these things
refs
happen.
And,
these things happen.
Yeah. So lots of other stuff going on too, but it should be a really good game. NFC East matchup. 3 teams still alive in the NFC East in these playoffs here. That's insane.
Yeah, no shit. That is a wild stat. Yeah. So make sure you guys are following along, listening to all these previews. We've got them all up on the socials. You can find links on Twitter, Facebook, our YouTube channel. They're all out there for you guys to listen to. Like I said, this will be the first of all 4 games coming at you this weekend. Give them a listen, give them a share. Follow us on the other social medias. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. You're getting our best bets, things like that. Appreciate everyone that's given us follows and likes and subscribes and all of the good stuff out there. So good on y'all until the next one. I don't know who that's going to be, but the next one. There will be 3 more after this.
Doing them all.
This has been Just Another Football Show.
See ya.
I